Honorable Zungula.
Thank you. Greetings, Chair, colleagues, and everyone on the platform. Let me start by saying, Chair, it is to be expected that the President will not subject himself to this process, a constitutional process of holding him accountable. Like we argued in our papers against that interdict that we still feel was wrongly given, was that the President, at each and every stage, he's going to try and find some issue for the purposes of stalling the process, frustrating the process, and delaying the process. So for him now to have some issue with Advocate Madonsela, on the grounds that he removed him from the JSC, it's something that should be viewed for what it is. It is a delaying tactic. Each and every South African should know that the president has got a say in the appointment of judges and other senior counsels in the country. And others act for him and others act against him. If I can make a comparison, if the vote Kate Hofmeyr won, would he then said there's a conflict of interest for Kate Hofmeyr simply because Kate Hofmeyr has represented the president on a number of issues? So the problem here that we're facing a problem of a president that does not want to be held accountable in terms of Section 89 of the Constitution. That is a real crisis here. And I do want to spell out, Chair, that this is not the last time. Each and every process, he is going to try and delay, frustrate, and somewhat prohibit the committee from fulfilling its constitutional obligations. This will be done or is done by someone who claims to be pro-constitution, respects the rule of law, respects Parliament's obligation, and functioning in holding him accountable. The first thing, therefore, from my side, is that we took a decision to appoint Advocate Madonsela as an evidence leader. And when we took that decision, all that the president is raising was declared by Advocate Madonsela. That's the first thing. The second thing is that before we decided on the evidence leaders, we had a long meeting where we defined what constitutes conflict of interest. And none of the matters raised by the president constitute then the conflict of interest. Therefore, it is something that should not be accepted when now the president is introducing his own version of a conflict of interest outside the parameters that were set by the committee. And if the president was really genuine about assisting the process, the minute we defined the conflict of interest, he would have had some input even then to say what then is conflict of interest. So, but he did not do so. So, what we're most likely to happen, most likely to see, is that we're going to see a process whereby each and every process is going to wait for a decision to be taken, and when the consequence of the decision is taken, which is progress, he's then going to try find some means of wanting to stall the process, of wanting to delay the process. Having said that, Chair, my suggestion is that let us move on with the work of Parliament. It can't be that now we're going to be coached, we are going to be dictated to by someone who we are holding accountable. Because in the entire process, he's interdicted the public hearings aspect of the process. Now he wants to somewhat stop the process of appointing an evidence leader. What next should we expect from him? So it's very important for South Africans to know that here we're dealing with someone who claims to have acted innocently and has done nothing wrong in relation to the matter at hand. But practically, he's fighting tooth and nail. He's doing, applying every trick in the book to try and stop the process from continuing. A process, by the way, that would enable him to clear his name. A process that would enable him to state his truth so that this matter can be put to bed. So, Chair, let us not allow to be delayed, by the president. We must not be delayed by the very same ANC who should have raised this objection the minute the nomination was done. Not wait up until a decision is taken and then want to raise, some form of objections. So, echoing the colleagues' sentiments, please protect this process from frivolous delays that seek to frustrate the work of Parliament. Thank you.